Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies to convert leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with the relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmonk to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Dan Fuoco from M1 Concourse, digital marketing manager with them. How are you doing today, Dan?
Oh, today's a great day. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking, Dan. And well, I'm sure our listeners are tuning in, wondering what M1 Concourse is all about. So in your own words, Dan, tell us a little bit more.
So we are a 1.5 mile track located inside a metro area, specifically Metro Detroit. And we have everything that anyone interested in automotive can do. We have basically a way for you to get on track. We have public events that have to do with cars. We have an event center. And so anyone who's interested in the automotive epicenter, as we call it, this is your place to be.
That's awesome. Love that, right? I think everybody would want to. Well, quick question before I jump into that, right? So then, what would you say is that key issue or detail that you guys like to have people going with you guys? Is there a certain vision that you guys have in place for that?
Well, we want to make sure that we're a place that can serve many and that can serve few. And what I mean by that is we host public events where we have thousands and thousands of people in cars here, but we also have an event center and we have a private track that, if you want to do an anniversary or you want to do something that is just special to your core group of people, we have that ability to do that as well.
Kind of like, an outing for a company, go and team out it. That's
We just had an unveiling over here, a car unveiling, different things like that, where you don't always have to use the track, but we have views of the track. It's a high selling point. It's really interesting access, but it doesn't always have to be used. It can be observed as well.
Definitely, right? Because you guys have those cars and coffee every other week. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we are the largest cars and coffee in Michigan. Once a month, we host our events, and we'll get thousands, on average, about 1,500, sometimes 2,000 cars and people here on site for the coffee, for the cars, for the fun, for the activities. It's just a great place, and they're here for a couple hours, and then at 11 o'clock, they're gone.
That's awesome to hear. So then, as far as people going and getting events, going there or using the track, is there a certain type of segment that you guys like to focus on?
No, we're kind of broad in that sense. We have a lot of different segments that we look at, corporate or social settings. We have industry specifics. We're located, in Metro Detroit, so we have the big three automakers. They're located and headquartered just miles away from us, between, a couple miles north to, 20 or 30 minutes south, right? So 45 minutes. So they're all centrally kind of located right here. And, they'll come on to the track at different times. But then any other, tier 2, tier 1 organization has access to, be able to come to the track, whether it's for testing, whether it's for different outings or events, conferences. There's a lot of different opportunities. So we're trying to serve many in that sense.
Definitely. So say, that there's an event, right? Like cars and coffee. How would somebody usually then find out about M1 Concourse? Is there a top client acquisition channel for you guys?
So our acquisition channels vary in terms of our biggest one is our email marketing. And so we'll have a newsletter that goes out once a week, sometimes twice a week, depending on the season. And that gives you all the information as to what's happening, current events that are happening, as well as, special special outings or special things that happen that, that are just private, but are actually kind of a big deal or something that people like to see. So for instance, we had, I don't know if you're familiar with the movie Smokey and the Bandit, but it's with Burt Reynolds. It's a movie where, there's, Burt is being chased by the cops because it has to do with, he's got an iconic Trans Am. Yeah, let's just say there's an iconic Trans Am. So we had a group called the Bandit Run, and they travel throughout the U.S. and they make stops. And so there were groups. There were probably about 60 or 70 of these specific Trans Am. Most of them with the Pontiac bird on the hood, and they came over, took a great big group picture in front of our event center. And so that's something that we were able to share through our, our newsletter or our social media so that people can see, because we're not all, it's not always about selling. It's about creating a good community.
Definitely. And that's important, right? And so then that way our listeners who are tuned in can go ahead and visit you. They could always check you guys out at m1concourse.com.
Right.
They can sign up there, car club, festivals, track, even the M1 store, right? What would you say is that the website is there for? Is it for website lead generation? Is it to inform? What is the website for you guys?
It's a little bit of both, because we like we were saying, the newsletter is also on the website, and we do a lot of lead generation through the newsletter. But we're also doing lead generation and purchases through our Shopify website, which is a subdomain of the website. It's shop.m1concourse.com, because we're selling specific merchandise to M1 Concourse and our two major events, our Woodward Dream Show and our American Speed Festival. So there's a lot of different aspects happening. But using that website and that subdomain to drive traffic to those places is how we're creating a lot of awareness. And on top of that, the other aspect, I know we talked about acquisition, selling the event center is a big way to get people over here, because that's more of the B2B side of things. We have the B2C where we're talking to consumer and we're trying to get that information out to the public. But then the B2B where we're talking to, the automotive groups, the corporate outings, those types of markets. That's one way, through the event center, through event planners. Those are different ways to increase acquisition and increase attendance, our marketing in that aspect.
Definitely important. So that on that note, then, Dan, is there any tools or tips or methods that you would recommend to our listeners as far as some website lead generation?
So what I've experienced and what I've found through, other organizations, marketing leaders, is less is more. And so when you have a website with a landing page that brings people down the page, because you have a big image at the top and maybe a headline and a call to action button, but it still induces curiosity and it brings people down the page to learn more. That's what I found that has worked the absolute best. So we have, to give you an example, we have a fireworks show, and the fireworks page has a big picture of fireworks. There's cars on track where you can actually watch the fireworks from. So your parking spot is the spot where you watch the fireworks, and you get to drive, you park on track or you park somewhere on property and you watch the fireworks. But that page is a picture of that. And so you see the cars and the fireworks in the background, and then tells you the title. It's got the, call to action, but it, brings you down the page so that you can see, well, what is this? What's going on? Yeah, I mean, yes, I want to get a ticket, but I want to know more. What are the ticket prices? What are the benefits? What is actually at this show? So that page is performing very well. And on top of that, it has a countdown clock, which I think helps, create a lot of FOMO.
Definitely. Okay, awesome. Great to hear that. And well, so let's switch gears a little bit then here, Dan. Let's talk about you as a leader. what are some key tasks you like to focus on your day-to-day work?
So my day-to-day consists of email marketing, strategy, handling the website, making sure everything on the website is working properly, and then social media management, community management, and even, I'll even answer phones, because as a marketing, individual, we have to think of all the things that we're doing. And typically the marketing people are some of the best and well-versed at what is happening in the organization, because they're already promoting it, right? You're already saying that here's all of our events, here's all of our things that we have to talk about to the audience digitally. You might as well answer the phones and get that aspect as well. Because in our organization, when we're looking at who our audiences are, and specifically what I'm doing, we have two major audiences. Half of them are digital, and then half of them are probably would be categorized as baby boomers, where they're not really tech savvy. They like to call on the phone. They have a hard time filling out, information and forms online. So I find myself sometimes sending out snail mail and pieces of paper to collect information, but whatever gets the job done.
Okay, awesome. Great to hear that from you. And curious, is it also you guys are also focusing on cycling?
Yes. So we call so we have horsepower on the track, but then we also have pedal power. So we started working with cyclists in the area a couple of years ago, and we're trying to promote that as well. And honestly, that's a challenge. I will tell you straightforward, it's a challenge, because it's not our normal demographic. It's not our normal market. We're dipping our toe into a different market, but it's a legitimate, really good market, because we've heard some of the challenges that they have. So when they're creating cycling marathons throughout the city, and they're driving on the roads, or they're cycling on the roads, sometimes the roads are bumpy, sometimes they have potholes. And so for a bike wheel, as you're going through, that could sometimes be catastrophic. You don't want to do that. You want to stay away from that. So they call onto our track, which has absolutely no, I'm not bragging, but most tracks have absolutely no potholes, no ruts. There's not even a seam. It's just one continuous piece of pavement. Yeah, it is perfect, because you have cars that are going 100, 150 miles per hour. And if they get a pothole, just like, what was it, last year when someone in Indy 500 in Las Vegas, or was it Formula One, they hit a sewer grate going like 200 miles per hour, ruined the car.
Yep. Yeah, it was Formula One. I remember that.
They love our track. Needless to say. It's so smooth. It's great. We can go really fast, and they typically go faster than they think. Then when they get around the turns, then they kind of realize, wow, we need to kind of slow down, because we're getting so hyped, and we didn't realize that this is really a sharp turn. So it gives them a lot of challenges. But then, like I said, on the marketing side, it gives me a lot of challenges too, because it's not a normal audience that I'm going after. So I'm learning a lot over the past 3 years.
That's awesome. I mean, and like you mentioned, right, I think for a cyclist, having a clean cut where to be at, I think that's just awesome. So
I love it.
You guys there. And we'll just jump into our next section then here, Dan, which is our rapid fire question rounds. Are you ready for them?
Let's do it.
All right. First off, Dan, what is the last book that you read?
It was called The Silva Method, and it's about mind control. Let's see if it's working.
Interesting. You read there. I definitely gotta get that one.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Awesome. All right. Next up then is, if there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
No boundaries in technology. I would say if there's a way, this is going to sound crazy, but if there's a way to cut out the noise You know, we see a lot of advertisements, and it's hard for me to say this coming from marketing background, but we see a lot of advertisements. If there's a way to cut out the noise and create, you know, more community where we're learning with each other, or we're talking to specialized people, I think that would be really fascinating from a marketing point of view, if we can create something like that.
Yep, I would agree with that. Next up then is, if there's one repetitive task that you could automate, what would that be?
Whatever it would be all the nuances that happen that I just need to get done very quickly. All those mundane little tasks that hold me up. I think the hardest thing as a marketer is, you know, if you have third parties and you say, hey, you know, I need you to either create this ad, or I need you to, you know, do something here. And they say, well, but we need the copy, we need the headline, we need the photo, we need the video, we need all of this. I guess if we had a way to have an asset library that could just automate, you know, what I'm saying, what I'm thinking, hey, do that, I think that would be my answer.
Like that. And well, I mean, Dan, there is no doubt that you have the experience in the marketing world, but what would be that one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
I would say preparation is paramount. And preparation is paramount in every aspect of the idea. Preparing, whether it's for something that is on site, something that needs to go out in the future, something that is digital, a content calendar, an event that's happening in person. Preparing for everything in every aspect, I think, is paramount. And you know, I come from a public relations background, and we always say we need to hurry up to wait. And so that's what it's like. Everything is get everything done, get it all set up, and then once you get to the event, as long as you're all set up, you're just waiting. You're just waiting for it to happen because you're all prepared.
All right, like that input there for our listeners. Well, Dan, we are coming to the end of the show here today, but before we do end, I do want to give you the last word. Say someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about M1 Concourse?
It's a track in a metro area, and it's not common. It's a place for auto enthusiasts to have fun and live their dreams.
Definitely, and I think what one of those dreams, right, is going on the track, but also festivals and the car club. So check them out at m1concourse.com. And well, it's been a pleasure to have you on with us today, Dan, as well as to our listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to our next episode at Pathmonk Presents. Thanks a lot, Dan.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and this has been a wonderful interview.